Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the situation we face tonight in Pennsylvania is that we spend $6.8 billion per year on our transportation infrastructure. That amount, that $6.8 billion, has doubled over the past 20 years. We spend the 11th highest amount per road mile of any state. With all that spending, we replace hundreds of bridges every year. So why are we having all these difficulties? Why is there a crisis in Pennsylvania when it comes to transportation infrastructure? Why do we have issues with structurally deficient bridges? In part, Mr. Speaker, because we haven't taken the appropriate steps to control the costs of construction in this state. In particular, the prevailing wage, which artificially increases the cost to the taxpayers of public construction projects, including roads and bridges. So, Mr. Speaker, I commend the bipartisan effort in this amendment to finally take the steps necessary to begin reforming the archaic waste inherent in the prevailing wage. I commend my friends on the other side of the aisle for finally confronting the prevailing wage tonight in their support of this amendment. But, Mr. Speaker, unfortunately, while this amendment begins to tackle the prevailing waste of taxpayer dollars forced by the prevailing wage, it doesn't go nearly far enough. And worse, Mr. Speaker, the result of enacting this amendment would mean a 28-cent a gallon gas tax increase for Pennsylvania motorists. It would give us the highest gasoline tax in the nation. It would cost the typical gas buyer with a 20-gallon tank $5 more every time they fill up their vehicle. And in this bill, in this amendment, would be more massive subsidies for urban mass transit boondoggles. Mr. Speaker, there are alternatives. We could use the existing tax dollars more wisely and make the tough decisions to reallocate and reprioritize the tax dollars we already collect. So, Mr. Speaker, I would urge a no vote on this amendment. I would urge us to be responsible stewards, to not bow to the special interests that are demanding that we pass this amendment tonight, but to stand up for the Pennsylvania taxpayers. Let's take the good in this amendment, the historic first steps towards bipartisan rollback of the ridiculous and abusive prevailing wage law. Let's build on that, and let's go back to the drawing board with a plan that doesn't crush the taxpayers that we're trying to represent with massive new tax increases at the gas pump. Again, I would urge a no vote. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.